of the beginning of the anti-apartheid movement in London years ago. I won't put a year because I'll go wrong. But we had veterans of the anti-apartheid movement. We supported South Africa. We can since then. And I just want to say, I've not done enough research. President Mbeki will shoot at me for not doing proper research, but I have not known of any movement in the world that supported one country like the anti-apartheid. I've never. And you went anywhere in the world, there was an anti-apartheid movement to support South Africa. We would want from this conference to go back home and mobilize people. It's people who are going to get Pakistan. It's not the government. We have the United States, Britain, France, Germany, everybody. I would like to thank Ulrich. I just saw Ulrich as one German. I know that it's Ulrich. He's a veteran of the anti-apartheid. You can just stand up. South Africa had all those people supporting this country. They helped them to get nuclear weapons, chemical weapons that were used against us. They made sure apartheid is solid, and Israel was the agent to make sure that we are never free. But we worked with the world, the anti-apartheid movement, made sure that the world turns around. And the United States, we supported apartheid, ended up passing a legislation on sanctions against us. We want to see within a short space of time, and we must thank those students in the United States. They must make sure that the United States does not maintain this position that makes no sense. And those Congress people who are threatening the ICC, I mean, they are real terrorists. I mean, to threaten killing people and victimizing them, apply sanctions against them. It's a very strange democracy where there's a right to threaten people. We need to stop it, and it's the people who are going to stop it. We are here to develop strategies together to stop the genocide and illegal occupation and allow Palestinians to exercise their unalienable right to self-determination. Because of the number of questions, we'll do the video after I finish. Because of the number of questions that people have asked, we thought we must clarify. Firstly, this conference is a civil society conference. It's not a government to government, it's not political parties, it's civil society. And I would like to keep it at that level. Secondly, that participants are here per invitation. So people didn't just walk in. We realized there are others who tried to walk out here. But we can't have people who don't know who they are. So it's per invitation, and people who are here are people we think will help us to develop the strategy, not to represent organizations where they come. It's not a conference of delegates who represent certain interests, but it's people who will be able to think together and make sure that we have the strategies. Third, that we decided we will, let me start elsewhere. We consulted everybody of the Palestinian factions, parties, entities before we announced this conference. And I would like to thank Mohammed Danko for assisting us because he went in that area. So we made sure everybody knew we were going to do it. No one not know that we were going to do what we were doing. And we decided it's only after this civil society conference that will interact with the political parties. We had a roadmap to free Palestine in the original program we removed it because we want to interact with them to say what is the roadmap to freedom rather than just but there must be a roadmap time frames. We're going to end the system. We're not just going to have conference now without a clear roadmap. And of course, it can't be like South Africa, but the veterans of the struggle were in exile, etc., led us in this process. We had this at the Harare where we decided on the roadmap, and it was taken to the UN to say to the UN, this is our roadmap. If you support us, this is our roadmap. Would like to define that after this conference, so that when we support Palestine, we know what the roadmap is. And I would like to then thank you for coming. And I checked the list, Minister Pando, of the participants. We have, Argentina, Brazil, Ecuador, India. In this room, we have got many countries. And we would like to thank you. Let's give them a big hand. I want to stop the main time to do that. And we thank the South Africans who are here, the Africans north of us. We did our best to get them here to make sure that we think together in this section. I would like to then thank you very much. I will hand over to our program director, Archbishop from Akova is one of the patrons, and he sent us a message, and we thought we should play it so that he speaks as well on behalf of the church. Thank you.
Palestine, thank you for the opportunity to contribute this message to your deliberations. I am sorry that prior commitments prevent me from being present in person. Last September, my church declared Israel an apartheid state. Even today, in Africa, we used to say that such an unjust system could only be sustained by violence. Within weeks of our declaration, demonstrated that it too can sustain its apartheid-like grip over the Palestinian people only by extreme violence. So let us name with courage the evil of war and the ills which it brings. Let us acknowledge the deep pain which apartheid causes, and let us lament the killing and destruction both of Israel's war on Gaza and its violent oppression of the occupied West Bank. in our moments of despair in apartheid South Africa, my predecessor, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, always held on to hope. In his colorful language, he used to say that sometimes he was holding on to hope by the skin of his teeth, and that he wished that God would make it slightly more obvious that he was in charge. But holding on to hope eventually brought about our liberation from oppression and injustice. And so we too today must highlight the hope and the courage that will liberate Palestine. I'm confident that it will, because as people of faith, we believe in the transformative power of God's love for all, and in the God of justice who has overcome oppression and injustice. The worldwide experience of this power reminds us of the agency of all peace-loving people in the world. It is exciting to see the way we call for negotiations between all parties who represent different strengths of opinion in Palestine and Israel. We call on all those in the corridors of power in the West to abandon their current policies and support the interests of the people of Palestine. And we pray for long-lasting peace in the land three religions call holy. And for ourselves as people of faith, I urge especially our students, young people, to recommit to being peacemakers globally. God bless you, and God loves you, and so do I. My name is Archbishop Tabernacle.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Baba. I believe we now feel welcomed, don't we? And we now have an understanding why we have been gathered here together for this conference. And Reverend Chigane says during the apartheid movement, he believed it was the only movement that took so much and brought the globe to bring change to South Africa. And I say, today, this one is going to be the next movement to fight against the apartheid regime of Israel. And without us as the civil society, without us as the churches, without us the people who feel the pain, it cannot happen. So we commit ourselves today as we move forward that we make this movement the movement that once Reverend Chikane said the apartheid movement against South Africa was the only one, and this one will be the second one. Do we believe that? Do we believe that? Thank you. South Africa has always been vocal. Excuse me. South Africa has always been very vocal and clear on the deadly conflict between Israel and Palestine, and we continue to do so. By gathering this whole people here, we still stand on that stance that our government has taken. There have been a quite number of people that have joined us, and I would like Reverend Chikane to introduce them as we wait for the minister to come back and address us. Reverend Chikane.
Music, I must come back. I like it. Firstly, thank you very much, Dudu. Firstly, by the way, Dudu didn't introduce herself. She's the director of the accompaniment program. What is it? ERP.
It's an accompaniment, ecumenical accompaniment program in Palestine and Israel, led by the WCC and here in South Africa by South African Council of Churches.
So they have a program to send people there to go and spend 3 months and be in solidarity with Palestinians where there is conflict and where they are victimized. And we thank you. I thought I must introduce her in that way. Firstly, I made a mistake. I must correct the mistake. I talked about Foreign Minister of Colombia. It's Bolivia, not Colombia. Bolivia. And then I just want to say the National Party chairperson of Sinn Féin is here with us as well. And we will be speaking. Where are you? Yeah. I would like to thank you for traveling from so far. We want to introduce everybody because everybody is important here, you know. And I wanted to end by saying all of you are VIPs. There's no yes. And then we have interacted with the president of Namibia. You know, Namibia has experienced genocide. Yeah, there's one country there where there was real genocide. Yeah. And then we had informed the president. He was, and actually invited him because we thought he, as a comrade, even if we don't follow protocol, we would invite him as civil society. But he has sent, President has sent a representative from Namibia to come and represent him here. I would like you to stand. It's Yvonne Dausa, Minister of Justice, Republic of Namibia. Minister of Justice, Republic of Namibia. Thank you very much for coming especially to be with civil society. Yeah, when we are in a struggle, we break protocol and win a struggle. Thank you very much.
The International Relations Minister has claimed the indiscriminate bombardment of the Gaza Strip by the IDF. She has urged South Africans to call for a ceasefire as early as November 2023. And today, she urged us before to raise our voices as South Africans that ceasefire must happen. And today, Dr. G.N.M. Pando, Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, is here to address this conference as we are about to make history and work towards dismantling the Israeli apartheid regime. Let's warmly welcome the Minister Dr. Naledi Kanye.
Thank you very much. You all make me really embarrassed. Well, let me do the right thing, which is protocol, being Minister of International Relations and Cooperation. Let me begin by recognizing the program director, our former president, President Thabo Mbeki, the former Prime Minister of Turkey, all political leaders present here today, excellencies, ambassadors, and high commissioners, ministers, deputy ministers, members of parliament. I don't know if members of the judiciary are here, but I know there is a retired judge. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, comrades, and friends. President Ramaphosa directed me to greet you all. So good morning. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. He also asked me to express his regret that he could not be here and asked me to represent him and his office by presenting this opening address that he had been honored and asked to present. So for me, it's an honor to address you all here today at this inaugural Global Anti-Apartheid Conference on Palestine. For those of you who come from the Western Cape, don't get any ideas about President Ramaphosa asking me to speak on his behalf. I have no ambitions. This conference is a watershed moment, as it is the beginning of the global anti-apartheid movement on Palestine, with all of us from around the globe coming together and joining forces in the struggle for justice for the Palestinian people. We would like to express our deep appreciation as government to Reverend Frank Chikani and his team for spearheading the efforts to make this conference a reality at a pivotal moment for Palestinians who are fighting for their survival amidst mass starvation, military onslaught, and unspeakable war crimes and atrocities. It has never been so urgent for progressive forces around the world to come together in a collective effort to exert maximum pressure to end the genocidal campaign underway in Gaza and to end the apartheid system of Israel in the occupied territories. The ongoing genocidal atrocities being committed by Israel have put renewed focus on the urgent need for wider international community demand for decolonization and an end to Israel's settler colonialism. Progressive forces need to push for the fulfillment of the inalienable right of the Palestinian people to self-determination, which has been systematically denied since the British Mandate. They must also push for the right of refugees in the diaspora to return to their homeland. And I want to say to the people of Palestine, there's a little story I always have in my mind of my mother lying very ill in hospital and whispering to me, you know, when we were young, we used to sing freedom in our lifetime. And she said we sang it for many years until I began to believe we would not see it. And she said, I'm so glad I saw freedom in my life. And I want to say to the people of Palestine, you will see freedom in your life. And the government of South Africa, we hold the view that the international community has an obligation to find a comprehensive and just solution to the Palestinian issue. So far, the traditional approach to conflict resolution has failed to achieve peace. It is possible that a different approach, one using a human rights perspective on conflict resolution, could produce what the old approach could not. A human rights approach asserts that the principles and practices enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, including equality, non-discrimination, participation, inclusion, and accountability, as well as the importance of the rule of law, should guide all the stages of a peace process. We call for international solidarity and increased pressure to support the just cause of the Palestinian people to achieve their legitimate demand for a viable, independent state alongside the state of Israel. Someone told me I was controversial at the University of Johannesburg earlier this week. I thought I was very mild. Because all I asked for was mass protest. And if need be, we engage in a hunger strike, and that we are not invisible in our activism. I don't think that's controversial. We as South Africa stand ready to work more closely with Palestine and believe that the only way to bring about a lasting peace in the Middle East is to have a comprehensive and negotiated settlement without preconditions to end the Israeli occupation of the Palestinian territory and Israel's continued blockade and siege of Gaza. I have warned the friends that I have in Palestine that in the boardrooms in which I sit with many people, I keep hearing talk about who should make up the government once peace reigns. And I've said to them, part of the fight for self-determination is the ability to choose your own leaders, not to have them imposed on you. And so I've said to them, should a process of negotiation ensue, they must pay very close attention to who is in the negotiation room and whether these are the true representatives of the people of Palestine. As South Africa, we make these remarks because we recognize fully the connection between the Palestinian struggle for self-determination and the wider global movement for liberation from both colonialism and other associated forms of structural and institutionalized racism. Our country and our people have consistently shown their commitment to the Palestinian cause over the past 30 years of democracy and long before that. I repeat once more, our association with the people of Palestine did not begin on the 8th of October, 2023. We hope that we will be able to play a role in efforts to bring the various Palestinians get into that negotiation room. They speak with one voice and have a common vision on the way forward. And I cannot stress sufficiently the importance of being adequately prepared for negotiation. And South Africa, I believe, our leaders have a proposed framework. And I know there are many others who would keenly play that role, but it is critical to be prepared, to have the vision clearly has since before the dawn of democracy been an ally of Palestine, and we have consistently highlighted the struggles of the Palestinian people. We've supported them in international bodies and offered material assistance. Of racial inequality and discrimination. And we identify fully, not half measure, fully with the struggle for freedom and self-determination. For many decades, our struggle for freedom benefited greatly from international solidarity. The steps to our own freedom during the liberation struggle in the period between 1960 and 1994, and I would say even before then, was premised on 4 pillars that marked an important watershed in the struggle against apartheid. And these pillars these 4 pillars, which have been identified as important components of a struggle against domination and apartheid, are mass mobilization, you must have the masses with you. They are armed plight of oppressed South Africans worldwide, thereby putting a spotlight on the then government and widening in various to the October 7 attack. It did not realize that its impunity and cruelty toward Palestinian people would finally be naked to the world. The world can see Israel for what it has done. These actions actions of these 4 pillars put pressure on the efforts to bring down apartheid Israel. And do be clear that we are saying to bring down apartheid Israel. There's no anti-Semitism here. There's no hatred. There's no hatred of Jewish people, as is often the allegation and accusation. What we wish to end is the cruel domination of apartheid Israel and the oppression of Palestinian people. And we need to make this clear. At a government and political level, we suggest that the conference as a collective should consider a role for what might be called frontline states, as the liberation movements in South Africa had done in their struggle for freedom and democracy. So by frontline states, we envisage that there should be a role for the immediate neighbors of the Palestinian people to play a critical and forward-leading role in the struggle for freedom and self-determination. If you have that support, it then really helps to build a regional force against apartheid domination. Without your neighbors supporting you, it's very difficult to wage that struggle. But when they stand with you, as our neighbors in the frontline states around South Africa stood with the liberation movements, you have the backing, you have the collaboration, you have the support to wage the struggle successfully. So the importance of the regional support cannot be understated by any means. We also believe that the pivotal role played by the United Nations and civil society in supporting our respective liberation struggles and the impact that this had in us achieving our freedom must encourage the United Nations, as well as all member states, the international community, and broadly civil society to strengthen international action and coordination to uphold international norms and standards in seeking justice for the people of Palestine. We acted as one. Liberation movements, civil society, international anti-apartheid movement, trade unions, all sectors of workers, a range of classes, public representatives. We were
وتصريف الرياح والسحاب المسخر بين السماء والأرض لآيات لقوم يعقلون ومن الناس من